This trading week was a roller coaster, especially with this a nasty drop during the Asian session on Monday that we had. But you know what we did? We turned that drop into pure profit. I used a simple yet powerful strategy: trend lines, support areas. It was textbook trading, and I simply rode the wave with my whole team. And the best part, I did it again later in the week. Another clean setup, another trend line, another support area. I shared this with everyone in the free signal group. If you're not in it, the link is in the description below. Make sure to join it so that you don't miss out on these beautiful setups. As you can see, I added positions and it played out just like I had planned. Now here we are all about trading smart, simple strategies and real results. I love to see a clean chart. I never make trading difficult, right? And I always share my insights here. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. We trade the Nasdaq over here. If you're returning, welcome back. You already know what's up. Don't forget to hit that like button, turn on your post notifications, and subscribe to the channel because you don't want to miss out on any of these winning plays that we always have. All right, enough of the talk. Let's get to the charts. Today, we are diving deep into the weekly analysis, starting with everyone's favorite, that's the Nasdaq. I will start here on the 1 hour time frame. Now, I actually anticipated this drop we are seeing all the way back on Friday before the market closed. In fact, I dropped this setup in the free signal group, highlighting this point of interest right here. And if the market had dropped into this level earlier, we would have bought the Nasdaq on Friday. This was my targeted zone. I was expecting the price to reach this level. Now let's zoom out and take a look at the bigger picture on the daily time frame. And let's talk about this trend line for a moment. This is not just a trend line. If you go back to my videos from last 2 weeks, or 2 or 3 videos behind to be precise. Now you remember we actually traded a breakout of this very trend line on Nasdaq. Also on the daily time frame, it was a fantastic trade because it broke out and we rode that wave perfectly. But what happened next is just as important, right? After the breakout, the market pulled back, retesting the trend line. Now a retest can either be a retest at the trend line or it can retest going to find a support area. And from there, it found support at this area below. This is the support area combined with the retested trend line. And that is precisely what we capitalized on for this week. So as you can see, this trend line has been that instrument to our success for the past 2 weeks. Just looking at these setups, reanalyzing as the market progresses, right? Now for this week, let's shift our focus slightly, right? We are going to concentrate mainly on support and resistance areas, right? Because the trend line for the daily time frame is already not that valid anymore, and the overall trend line, you already understand that we are trending to the upside on the Nasdaq, right? So let's remove this trend line for now. We already have our support level clearly marked at the bottom. Now we need to identify our key resistance area, and I am marking it right here. This is the most recent and relevant resistance area that we all need to be watching. Now let's talk about possible scenarios, right? Because we can never predict the market. We don't know what the market is going to do. We just can look at potential scenarios. Now, if the market rejects this resistance level we have identified and starts heading back down towards our support area, there is a strong possibility that it might actually break through at that support and then looks for the next support level at this zone. And we definitely don't want to see Nasdaq doing that. I would rather prefer to see the Nasdaq continue with its upward momentum and push towards the all-time highs, which I am highlighting here on the 4 hour time frame. And the Nasdaq hasn't really retested the resistance levels yet, so I'm anticipating a push up before any significant drop. That's why I'm looking for a buying entry point for a good long position for this week. Now I wouldn't just want to buy right here at the support level, because that would make my stop loss way too big. So I have a couple of options here, as you should always have options before you enter a trade. So I could wait for the market to drop a little further, considering a buy, but I might miss out on the trade if it doesn't get to this level, right? So I might miss out on the trade altogether. Or I could wait for the market to break out of the resistance above before I enter a long position. But let's make things a bit more interesting. Let's drop down to the 1 hour time frame. Here we can identify a more recent support area, which I am marking over here. Now, if the market fails to hold this 1 hour support area, that would be my first warning sign. It could indicate a move towards the larger support area, which we discussed on the higher time frames, right? If the market does drop to this 1 hour support, I might consider a second attempt to enter a long position on the Nasdaq, right? But overall, like I said, my preferred scenario is seeing Nasdaq bouncing off this current trend line and shooting straight up towards the all-time highs. That's the move that I am really looking out for. But that's enough on the Nasdaq for now. Let's switch the gears and talk about two of your favorites. I know you guys like it when I analyze gold and US30, right? Let's dive right into that. We'll do a quick run through of both the charts. I did notice something really interesting. First up, having the US30, I want to highlight this support area where the market is currently. This is a key level on US30. Right now, the US30 is at a crucial point. Notice it's either going to respect this support area and bounce up, or it's going to break through it and continue downwards, because it's already there at the point of interest that would want to be looking at. These are the two main scenarios that would want to see on US30. Personally, I would prefer to see US30 rejecting at this support area and heading up to the top, because that would align with the overall trend that we've been seeing, right? US30 and the Nasdaq and gold, they've all been on an uptrend and they have been respecting these trends. However, in trading, there's always that however. If it fails to hold and breaks down to the next support area, then we'll likely look for a second buying opportunity there. And we are also trading near all-time highs on US30, which is something important to note right now. Let's look at the daily time frame. Notice something interesting here. The US30 has rejected off of the daily time frame high and it's starting to drop. If I draw another support area here, I would expect US30 to drop to this level, then bounce back up. Using this trend line, we can see that it broke out of the trend line. This might lead to a slight drop because the sellers are already in control before we can see a move to the upside, right? So that's the thing that's making US30 tricky to buy right now. That's the only reason why I probably won't buy US30 at the point where it is currently. But notice how similar it looks to gold. As you can see, we had an absolutely fantastic trade on gold. It's still marked up here on my chart. It was such a beautiful trade. Now we see gold has given us new highs. We have new highs on gold, and that's the exact same setup that we are looking at on US30, but just a little bit further. Gold has already played out. US30 is yet to play out, but the setups look exactly the same. Notice on gold, we had a high, then the market rejected and found support at this level, then broke out to the new all-time highs. That's exactly what I'm expecting to see on US30, right? A rejection from the highs, which it did, and then a drop to the support area, then a breakout to the new highs. Now, since gold has already given us new highs, I am not looking to buy gold yet. I will wait for a significant pullback before I consider a long position here, because I don't really see an entry point, because it might just continue shooting up to the top or might want to drop back. So before I buy gold or anything else, I would probably want to see it drop back first, then I catch the push to the upside. But I do want to see gold continuing with its upward push. So that's my quick take on the Nasdaq, US30 and gold. I hope you found this analysis helpful. If you did, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget, hit that like button, turn on your post notifications, and subscribe to the channel. You feel me? With that, it's been Tino, and I'll see you in the next lit video. Peace.
It's not a home where no one's there. So alone.